Okay, just got back from seeing Black Panther. So first off, major thoughts on the film. I'd say this is an oddly small Marvel Universe film, if that makes any sense. I think 85% of the film is pretty much in Wakanda, except for, there's like maybe three scenes that really aren't. Anyway, kind of getting to it all, we open up with a minor history of the nation of Wakanda. Basically, a meteorite of vibranium, the strongest material known to the Marvel Universe, fell to Earth into the nation, and basically the tribes in the area all kind of concentrated their power around it, with the Panther tribe basically becoming the dominant force. And over time, as the rest of the world began to escalate into war, with Wakanda withdrew from that and chose an isolationist path. We then jump to Oakland in 1992. There are two robbers who are greeted suddenly by Wakandan women. They're planning some sort of robbery or some sort of crime that'll get them some major money. And they're repeated, these two Wakandan women show up, and then the king T'Chaka shows up. It turns out that one of these men is N'Jobu, T'Chaka's brother. We get a brief overview of what's going on. A man named Ulysses Claw, that's Andy Serkis' character from the Avengers Age of Ultron, stole some vibranium, and they know they had inside help, and they know that was N'Jobu because this man that N'Jobu said was thought was an American friend is in actuality a Wakandan double agent sent to spy on him. We then see a Wakandan ship kind of in stealth take off from the apartment complex in Oakland, and there's this kid on the basketball court who has a slight hint of a Wakandan accent, and he watches it go off and he looks in awe. And basically that does sort of lead to something, which we'll all get to. So at this point we jump to the present day. It's kind of, here's where it gets weird, because obviously this is after Civil War, because T'Chaka is dead, T'Challa is returning to Wakanda to claim the throne, but there's like no appearance of Captain America or any of his band of Avengers from Civil War, except for one little bit, which we'll get to. There's one passing reference, T'Challa's sister, just a sec, I didn't quite get her name. Shuri, sorry, yeah. T'Challa's sister Shuri, it makes one brief passing mention of another white guy who's in the country, and that's about it. Anyway, T'Challa is greeted by Okoye, who's like basically the chief of the royal guards. And he's out to. He also has Nakia, who is basically love interest. She's kind of like a spy who's been working to break up human trafficking, and she's part of a growing movement to get Wakanda to basically try to help the world. Like, we need to aid the world. We know we're better than this. The world looks at us and just sees the cover of a third world country. We need to maybe start helping the world and, that sort of thing. And T'Challa is in sort of a dilemma about that. As part of the ceremony, and then we get the two parts of the ceremony. First off, there is the ability to challenge. The various tribes do not challenge except for one, the Jabari tribe, headed by M'Baku. Obviously, M'Baku is a character from the comics. He is... in the comics, he is called Man-Ape. So, yeah. Do understand that sometimes, even though there's a lot of pioneering with the Black Panther, there's some of it that just gets a little lost in translation, too. So, anyway, M'Baku and T'Challa fight. T'Challa is actually stripped of the powers of the Black Panther. And it's a hard-fought battle, but T'Challa wins it. And this does pay off later as well. So As this is happening, Ulysses Claw returns. He has, if you remember in Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, which he was in for about 10 minutes, he lost his left arm. And it gets replaced by this new sonic weapon. It basically looks like a real hand until it splits into another point, and then it can shoot a blast. It can... it turns out hypersonics can affect vibranium in certain ways. And he has this guy named Eric with him. Eric seems to know a lot about Wakanda, but it's never entirely revealed exactly what it is. Okay, spoilers here. This is Njobu's son, Njakra, I think is his actual proper name, but it's Eric Stevens, who then went into the CIA and became a high-level assassin called Killmonger. And Killmonger just seems to kind of like be this little lackey to Claw. Claw sets up a deal to sell this vibranium more vibranium that he's come into contact with, or possession of, in South Korea. And the Wakandans basically go out to, T'Challa, Okoye, and Nakia go to Korea to sort of intercept this deal and bring Claw back. And it turns out the person who's been trying to buy the vibranium is Everett Ross. That was Martin Freeman's character from Civil War. And kind of in the melee, this is where you get the big chase through Busan, South Korea. And that's, you get the big chase scene. T'Challa is wearing specialized armor designed by his sister. The necklace can basically project the armor out. The armor is specially designed that it can absorb a kinetic blast, and then if you try to strike the exact same spot, it will reflect that blast back. Shuri, T'Challa's sister, is like the tech guru of Wakanda, basically. And so that's why, that's her sort of role. That's where you get the part for that that horrible Lexus, I think, commercial that was around. Yeah. If you saw the Super Bowl at all, that's where that came from. Anyway, I'm trying to be not so blow-by-blow on these. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, they bring Claw in. Basically, Ross wants to question him. As they let him do it, as Ross is questioning him, Claw basically says, look, you think Wakanda is this third world country, but no, they're lying to you. They actually have large amounts of vibranium. I only stole a little bit of it. I didn't steal all of it like you think I did. And it's at this point that Killmonger breaks Claw free. However, it's then that Killmonger reveals his true motives, and he wants to go to Wakanda. Well, Claw refuses, so Killmonger kills him and basically flies to the outskirts of Wakanda and uses the corpse to bargain his way in. And it's kind of along this way that T'Challa discovers that Killmonger is, in fact, his cousin. Because they have a brief confrontation. Killmonger has a necklace with a Wakandan royal ring. A ring of the royal family on it. And so he goes to Yuri, who's the chief priest. And Yuri was actually the double agent who was following Njobu. So that's where that's come from. Yuri is played by Forrest Whitaker. Anyway, Killmonger eventually makes his way, challenges for the right to rule for the throne, basically. We have another fight. Basically, Yuri tries to intercede briefly. Killmonger kills him and then throws T'Challa over the side of a waterfall to become the new king of Wakanda. And he immediately sets forth to say, we are going to basically fight back for the oppression of African nations everywhere, and Africans everywhere. We're going to basically conquer the world and we're going to run it our way. And the warrior tribe in Wakanda actually kind of goes along with this. Anyway, the royal family and Ross, who actually was wounded in the breakout attempt, I forgot to mention that. Ross was wounded and taken back to Wakanda because it was the only place he could get medical attention, and that's where the second white guy reference comes in. Shuri goes, oh, another white guy, we need to help, thanks. And that's like the only other real Civil War. Well, there's one more Civil War reference, which I'll get to, but trust me, I'll get to it. Anyway, the royal family joins up with Ross, and they try to go into and Nakia, and they go into basically hiding. They go to the Jabari tribe, and they try to convince M'Baku to challenge Killmonger, and M'Baku basically reveals that T'Challa was in that land the whole time. They found his body, and they've been keeping him literally on ice the whole time. They managed to revive T'Challa. They present him back with the necklace that contains his armor. At this point, Killmonger gets armor of his own because he basically steals it. And as they're just about to launch their first military action, T'Challa returns to challenge Killmonger. They go off and eventually fight. The warrior tribe actually sides with... it's basically Wakandan Civil War, because the warrior tribe actually winds up siding with Killmonger. And after that, that's where the big fight breaks out. In the midst of this, Ross actually has to pilot a Wakandan aircraft to take down cargo shipments that are going out to activate basically their spies into a military force. Wakandan spies that they've infiltrated in various parts of the world. Excuse me. And yeah, I know I'm getting all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm trying to not be so blow by blow on these. So I'm trying to be as concise as I am, and it's tough because in this case you really are narrating a lot of the movie, and it's, like I said, it's a very small movie. Like 85% of it is in Wakanda. Like, there's the little bit in South Korea, and there's some bits in Oakland, and there's the one bit in London, and that's kind of it. Exactly. So, yeah, like I say, it's a very small movie in some aspects because it's primarily just that one location, but there's still a lot happening in that one location that you kind of have to keep track of. Basically, the Jabari tribe come to the aid of T'Challa, and it sort of turns the tides. Eventually, T'Challa and Killmonger fight on this specialized track in the vibranium mines. It has these sonic weapons because hypersonics can temporarily neutralize vibranium. So, as I said, if they, Shuri makes a mention of it earlier, if we were to transport it that fast at regular speed, it would explode. So, yeah, we have to temporarily neutralize it just to get it out of the mine. And from that, basically it neutralizes their armor just enough that T'Challa manages to commandeer a weapon from Killmonger and stab him. And kind of as this happens, you know, T'Challa's, through it all, he's acting more kingly throughout the whole film. Like, he goes in kind of in a debt, like I said, he has doubts, and he says, I don't know if I can be the king that my father was. I'm beginning to get the sense that maybe we shouldn't be so isolationist, but I don't know if I really have the initiative to change it. And Killmonger has kind of helped show him, see the error of his ways throughout everything. T'Challa is actually quite irate that this child got left behind. You could have brought him back, even though he probably would not have been welcome. They should have brought the brother back. They should have, yeah. As this happens, like I said, he stabs Killmonger, and Killmonger says, you know, T'Challa says, "Look, we can save you," and he says, "No, I'd rather die free than, you know, just be in jail the rest of my life." And he talks about how his father, Njobu, said that the Wakandan sunsets are the best in the world, and T'Challa shows his cousin a Wakandan sunset just before he dies. And it's kind of, I think it's from that, like I said, T'Challa learns more and more the responsibility of being a king, and it's not just what the role Wakanda must play in the world. It's basically, that's kind of how the film ends. There's a couple points to tag on here. T'Challa buys the property in Oakland where Njobu lived and died, and where Eric is from, and Wakandan jet lands in the middle of it because Shuri is going to be leading. It's like a Wakandan initiative. We're going to we're going to work into the inner cities. We're going to try to better our people that way. We're going to better people that way. We're going to work in education. We're going to work in tech and all that stuff, basically. And as this is happening, there's one kid who stops, and he kind of recognizes that it's a Wakandan ship, and I wonder if they're trying to plant that this is Killmonger's son. I don't know. I can't say that for certain, but it does seem that way. At that point, the credits start to roll, and we get two mid-credit sequences. We get a mid-credit sequence and an end-credit sequence. The mid-credit sequence is basically T'Challa addressing the United Nations, saying Wakanda's been isolationist too long. We need to work to better the world. All the nations need to work together to better the world. Excuse me. We all need to be part of one tribe. And at this point, an ambassador, I don't know which one, it sounded like a French one, goes, "That's fine, but you're a farming nation, you're a third world, like, what do you have to offer?" And T'Challa just kind of smirks. See, even the mid-credit sequence is kind of small in a way. Then we have the end-credit sequence. This is our last Civil War reference, and that is Bucky wakes up in Wakanda. He's revived. He has some kids that are checking on him. Naki is there, and they're talking, and he says, "Thank you, and I'm feeling much better," and and that's basically how it ends. And then it says, "Black Panther will return in Avengers: Infinity War." So yeah, that's it. Like I said, a very small movie. It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor, where you were zipping around everywhere. Obviously, it's not like Avengers or even Civil War, where you're, it's the big grandiose battle, or again, Civil War, where it's, heroes against heroes, and and the chess pieces kind of moving into position, or it's not like Doctor Strange, where it's the land of illusion and magic and everything in there. So, yeah, like I said, it's a very small film, and I don't mean that in a detriment, but it's very concentrated on building T'Challa as not only a character, but as a king. And I think that's the important part of it. Kind of strong performances throughout all. I mean, it sucks that there's really a bad part of the movie. There was a few points where I thought the plot not so much dragged. It just kind of felt like, okay, we're spinning our wheels here a little bit. I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase where one part is. Basically, it's like Okoye, who's like the chief security. It's a woman, and she's apparently married to the leader of the warrior tribe. I'm not entirely sure. Like, they keep referring to each other as their love, so I'm guessing they're married. But there's also there's a weird point where it looks like Killmonger kills Okoye, but she comes back to life. I'm not entirely sure how that happened exactly. Yeah, that kind of confused me a little bit. Maybe he killed another one of the Royal Guard and I just didn't realize. Other than that, though, like I said, there's not really major complaints. I mean, those are pretty minor nitpicks in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, so I'm giving Black Panther an A.
Tuesday on an all-new Moonlighting, Dave's on top of the world.
A television show? About me? Well, I don't know. I think people have had it with detective shows.
How's he adjusting to all this success?
Tomorrow, lunch?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay, it's trailer time again. We do have a few new trailers in this one, thankfully. First one is Strangers Pray at Night again. Then we have Uncle Drew. I know that's a trailer that dropped recently. That's a basketball movie starring Kyrie Irving as a legend of the titular Uncle Drew, basically a legend of the Rucker Park basketball tournament, the street ball tournament in New York City. Like I said, it's Kyrie Irving, Shaquille O'Neal, Reggie Miller, Nate Robinson, Lisa Leslie, and there's one other one. I can't think of who it is now. And they're all basically middle-aged to senior citizens competing in this street ball tournament along with the nephew of Uncle Drew, I think. And there's a bunch of people in it, I don't know who they are. I know the basketball players, though. Anyway, after that we have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom again. Then we got Venom. Venom, which is coming out in October, I think? I thought it was coming out earlier than that, but nope. At least the ad I saw said October. Even though that trailer looks very meh. And then we have A Wrinkle in Time again. Okay, so the plan is for the next movie to be game night. I might start towards the beginning of the next month, maybe doing like an itinerary for the movie releases. The one problem is March is pretty decent, but April, certain movies are getting released that I'm not entirely sure are coming to Bismarck. So I don't know if necessarily, I don't know how many I could do per week in April, but anyway, the next video after this one, though, is going to be the random trade review on Deadpool vs. Carnage. It's already been shot, and everything's taken care of, so that's ready to go on Sunday. After that, like I said, the next movie review will be Game Night. After that, it's going to be the Elimination Chamber recap and review. See you all then. Hey guys, is there a movie you want me to tackle? If it's some stinker like Baywatch or the Emoji Movie or something else? Check out my Patreon at Sleepy Time for Cat Productions. See how you can make that happen.